News. They're trying to clarify comments about the coal industry. Again,
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says President Biden's words were twisted last week when he suggested coal plants would be shuttered across the country.
He has spent his presidency fighting for coal communities so that they too can benefit from the energy transition we're in right now.
The president was criticized by Republicans and West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin, who said the comments were outrageous, divorced from reality, and cavalier about the loss of coal jobs. The administration's energy policies amid high gas prices have emerged as a top issue for midterm election voters.
Fox's Jared Halpern. President Biden rallies for Democrats in Maryland tonight, while former President Trump holds a final midterm rally in Ohio, where political newcomer J.D. Vance is posing a strong challenge to Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan. Another closely watched Senate race is in Wisconsin, where it's been a busy final day of campaigning.
Democrat Mandela Barnes in Milwaukee.
There's a candidate, myself, who's going to look out for working people.
And Republican incumbent Senator Ron Johnson at a stop in Madison.
This election is a fight for freedom. And it's not somebody else's fight, it's our fight. And it is a fight that we absolutely must win.
In one of the toughest U.S. Senate races in the country, as the latest Marquette U Law School poll shows Johnson with a 2-point lead over Barnes, within the margin of error in an election that polling also shows the economy, education, and crime are the biggest issues facing voters here in Wisconsin.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. The new Twitter CEO, Elon Musk, tweeting a recommendation to vote for Republican congressional candidates, given that a Democrat is president. Musk arguing that shared power curbs the worst excesses of both parties. America is listening to Fox News.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Come on, we're going to be late to the cookout.
I was just packing up my famous mac and cheese.
I hope you packed the Pepto, too.
Huh?
Pepto-Bismol provides fast relief from heartburn and indigestion. You know, that uncomfortable feeling after you eat too much. And after the deviled eggs, baked beans, and barbecue ribs, you're going to need it.
Barbecue ribs? I should probably pack an extra shirt, too.
Good call.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Some states are not only preparing for polls to open, but wrapping up early voting in person or by mail.
Pennsylvania officials say they're ready for tomorrow's midterm voting. Acting Secretary of State Lee M. Chapman says the state's voter hotline had overtime staffing this weekend to take calls.
Between Saturday and Sunday, staff fielded more than 800 calls from voters.
She says more than 1 million voters have completed and returned their mail-in ballots. And for any Pennsylvania voter who still has their mail-in ballot, it's time to take it to elections officials in person.
So do not put your ballot into the mailbox today because it will not be received in time. You must hand deliver it immediately.
Polls open at 7 a.m. tomorrow in Pennsylvania.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers in Pittsburgh. Officials also urging patience in Pennsylvania, which can't start counting mailed ballots until Election Day, and where final results could take days. A man recently convicted of 2 decades-old murders is sentenced to 2 life terms in prison. Alan Lee Phillips, who's now 71, plans to appeal his conviction, claiming DNA evidence was contaminated and mishandled. He was found guilty in September in the deaths of 2 women whose bodies were found in separate locations near a Colorado ski resort town nearly 40 years ago. Both women had been shot, believed to have been hitchhiking when they disappeared. Arraignment day for the suspect charged in connection with a shooting outside the Long Island home of New York's Republican candidate for governor, Congressman Lee Zeldin. 18-year-old Noah Green facing multiple counts, including weapons charges and resisting arrest.
The Suffolk County District Attorney said after court in a statement that detectives were able to find the gun used in the shooting in Green's pocket, and the Suffolk County Crime Lab was able to link the gun to one bullet fired outside Zeldin's home, along with shell casings located in the stolen car. Investigators said multiple gunshots were fired at 3 boys who took cover near Zeldin's house.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Wall Street rallies ahead of Election Day. The Dow up 423. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois, Champaign, Urbana, and vicinity. Boy, a little bit of everything for everyone. If that wasn't the case over the past weekend, weather-wise, from high wind, damaging wind, to severe weather on the southern plains, we'll certainly take vanilla around here. And that's the way weather plays out early in the week, pretty much as it ought to be for this point in through November. Big changes ahead. A shout of some cold winter-like air expected before the week is done. Sun filled for the day today. A bit of a gusty northeast wind settling on in. Afternoon temperatures seasonal at about 58. Partly cloudy sky for tonight, 38. Tomorrow, Election Day Tuesday, partly sunny. Dry weather here and across a wide area of the Midwest. High temperature up around 61 on a light east wind. We'll bottom out fair in 42 for tomorrow night. Partly cloudy, turning breezy milder for the day on Wednesday, up to 70. Windy warm, close to 75 on Thursday. Then a quick shower on Friday. Chillier weather, 52 and dropping. Highs only in the 30s. Nights in the low to mid 20s. Cold weather for the upcoming weekend. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Check. I literally just create madness.
Well, they're up.
I'm going to go off here.
They don't have a great quarterback.
I got to take a break. I'm getting in trouble.
To win the Big Ten, you first got to win the West.
Bad Bunny.
Have you heard his name in a while?
No.
Has it bothered you?
No. Defensively, they got to come in with some confidence.
Is that even analytics?
I'm in a parking garage. I'm kind of lost.
Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer, R.J. Melendez, Coleman Hawkins.
These strong presentations aren't over. I didn't come here to go 5 and 7.
I'm so proud of Illinois football right now.
I'm so tired of Joel Embiid.
We're not taking Patrick Corbin.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh.
You are Reba McEntire's niece.
Roshan Russell.
Coach Bielma.
You no longer here. Salute to yourself.
What? We got all kinds of things for you here.
There's a lot of glass.
Oh.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
It's the Drive.
Smack dogs. Yep. I was just a little bit not happy with the way we played. Oh, wait. Hey, back to realization. It is the Drive with Tay and Piper. I am Lon Tay, Derek Piper to my left. He's all about basketball now because we have a game tonight. Illinois has got a game at 8 o'clock tonight. But we're going to hold off on that, Jay Lehman, out of respect to you, because it is the Jay Lehman Hour, and you're here to not talk basketball.
Hey, well, not just respect for me. You're acting like, well, out of respect for you. You want to play and talk football, too. But after a loss, this is what happens, guys. The salty dog is back. The kid from Camargo comes in and just is in a pissed-off mood.
I've just been kind of firing questions off of you.
It's just like he drank some vinegar for his orange juice this morning.
I was trying to think, okay, before we get nitty-gritty on all this, and I know the sky hasn't fallen, I understand you can still win the West, and what a chore or what a goal that would be, right? To play in Indy. That would be an incredible thing that I never thought I would see. I know that that's there. In fact, Derek, this may have worked out so well to where Illinois may be heading to the former Outback Bowl, the ReliaQuest. We may have played ourselves out of a New Year's Six to where they can go to the bowl I always wanted to go to anyway. So maybe the loss to Michigan State actually in the end is silver lining.
You don't
for
have
me.
to do that. Don't do that.
Okay, don't do that.
No.
So there is still plenty to play for. I get that.
Sure.
What did it cost?
Well, I think it cost a New Year's Six game.
Okay.
I think it cost a chance at an outside shot at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have won the Big Ten championship, gone to the Rose Bowl, maybe even the playoff if you win it all out. I mean, that was kind of a pipe dream, right? Michigan State,
sure,
Ohio State.
Sure.
But even if you lost to Michigan and still beat and won the Big Ten championship, you're probably in, a New Year's Six game somewhere. Probably maybe the Rose Bowl and whatnot. But when you look at it from a bigger picture, guys, again, I know when it was Indiana, I told you guys the sky's not falling. I'm a little bit more upset about this game.
You're right.
Because of how they played. I mean, you can't lose the turnover battle. I don't care if the turnovers are 1-1.
Right.
Guys, the punt, he punted into the butt one time, missed the punt. Like the wind affected the drop of the punt for Hugh Robertson or something. Right? We were 0 for 5 on fourth down. We've been money on fourth down.
Yes, we have.
If you're 0 5 on fourth down, you sucked on third down too.
Mm-hmm. Good call.
And so you can't do all that stuff. Those things were the difference in the game. And wind or not, Michigan State fake injuries or not, which they should be ashamed of. It was garbage.
That is.
Most of those guys were back. All of them walked off their own power.
Yeah.
They were back in within 2 plays. Number 33 had 2 or 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
He was out.
That's just Bush
right?
from the top.
It is, but that didn't lose the game, right?
Right.
So we're not, but that's just bad.
Don't bring that into the Big Ten.
That was garbage,
Exactly.
right? And it just seems like Michigan State's a team that would do that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So anyway, we'll throw that out there to begin with. But those mistakes, you just can't win football games that way.
Amen.
Jay, in terms of the defense, we know it's been one of the best in the country. They're the top scoring defense. To give up 23 is way above their season average.
Sure.
And we just saw a lot more chunk plays than we're accustomed to seeing, even in the run game, where they've been top notch. So what do you think led to that, to where Michigan State had that much success offensively for a team that hasn't run the ball very well all year and just didn't think they would be able to put up that much points?
That's a good question. First off, I think they're 2 good receivers, Jaden Reed and Coleman. Coleman didn't do anything. I mean, again, erased by Devin Witherspoon, right? Jaden Reed a lot of times got messed up. I think it's on Tyler Strang, right? Was it Strang? Who was the guy who replaced Taz Nicholson? Number 20 had a tough duty on Jaden Reed, right?
I didn't.
And Quan Martin got beat a couple times on 50-50 balls. Jaden Reed made some great plays, right? And just we usually win the 50-50 balls.
Yep.
And we usually have better pass rush. We had 1 sack. Johnny Newton had a half a sack. Calvin Hart 1 sack. I think Coleman got in concussion protocol, Seth Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
So then we had Seth out. We had 2 starters out, number 1. We weren't getting pressure, okay? Peyton Thorne, although not a mobile quarterback, was more mobile than he bought time.
Would agree.
Right? And again, it just seemed like we were not able to I think yards-wise, we beat them because they had such better field position than us.
That's a good point.
We had a horrible
That's
field
a great
position,
point.
right? Think about this. We went 80 yards in the fourth quarter from the 1 to the 19 and got stopped and got 0 points and took off 7 minutes of the clock.
Right.
Now, if we're ahead, great.
Wonderful.
When you're behind, right? I mean, I think the special teams put the defense in a very difficult spot. Was it their best game? Absolutely not. Did they lose on some jump balls? Yes, they did. Did Johnny Newton bail us out by sometimes getting some tackles for loss when we need somebody to make a play?
Amen.
Yes, he did. I think Johnny Newton played great. We got exposed, though, to your point. Again, second week in a row, specific game plans by the offensive coordinator, Jay Johnson from Michigan State, Mark Whipple the week before, targeting our linebackers in man coverage, okay? Because here's the deal. If you're trying to stop the run, the man coverage that's going to be open, guys, is going to be the running. It's going to be the tight end of the running backs. Part of the reason why Tip Ryman had so many catches is because the linebackers were selling to stop the run, and they're guarding the tight end, right? But what we've seen is that, hey, Illinois' defensive line's been really solid. Their D-backs might be some of the best in the country. Let's try to attack the linebackers who've been solid, but maybe not as great as the other ones. And we've seen a lot of screen plays. I think there are some mental errors that Brett he mentioned. I think some of those we didn't guard the running back on the screen plays a ton. They took away of our aggression. We were coming at 5-6 guys rushing and just dumped the ball over the top to the tight end or to the running back and had some big gains, and that really hurt us at critical times. That was really long-winded. Sorry.
No, that was great.
That was excellent.
And you accurately pointed out the field position. I want to get into that. If you would have went back a month or so ago, we would have said there's going to be a game where the special teams loses the Illinois football game.
Sure.
Now, I think this went a little bit by the wayside here recently, but the punting was atrocious. You had a fair catch that gave you the ball on the 7-yard line. You had one kickoff where Michigan State darn near recovered the ball.
Sure, that was almost a turnover.
That was almost a turnover, and that would have probably put the nail in your heart there in the fourth quarter. I mean, what do you make of how bad things have been special teams-wise, or at least in this game? Because I at least appreciate that we're not sitting here and just marveling at the punter again and the kicker as like the marquee players of the team.
For a while it was. It was Blake and James McCourt, right?
They were very good, but
isn't it amazing though? It'd
be nice to have a quality punter, wouldn't it?
Be fantastic to have one. Okay, I think first off, you mentioned Peyton Vining did a bad job on all the punts, on all the kickoffs rather. They weren't ready for the kickoff to be caught up in the wind. I'm not sure why not, right? I mean, everybody knew. Invalid fair catch, which you mentioned, which got us on the 8-yard line. Isaiah Williams let one bounce way over his head, and then he returned it to like the 6, and then he let one go over his head, and it went out at the 1.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, here's the deal. It's your chance to get a good return when you punt with the wind. You can get a good return when you're the returner because the guys can't get down there.
Mm-hmm.
She should catch everything and return something. That broke our back. That punt at the one that went 80 yards, didn't get a touchdown, right? Our field position was so bad we would move the ball, and we didn't have many chunk plays, but we had decent plays. We had almost 450 yards or something.
Right.
If I told you DeVito's going to throw for 288, 2 touchdowns, no picks, Chase is going to have 130 yards, you'd say how much we winning by, right? So when we couldn't move the ball, we couldn't execute in the red zone, couldn't execute on fourth down, couldn't execute on the money down, which is third down. We lost the turnover battle if you count the fourth downs, and our punting game was atrocious. Did the wind knock off Hugh Robertson's drop?
Sure.
What happened? I don't know, but they got to figure it out.
You do, and I'm glad you went with that with regards to the stats and saying the idea of if you told me all these stats, you would ask how much we were winning by or how much we won by. So my question to you is, Illinois is undefeated against the West. They haven't beaten the 2 worst teams in the East, which you can easily sit there and think, okay, wait, well, maybe not the 2 worst. I think Rutgers probably would fit in there somewhere. Then it makes you think, okay, hold on, if we were in the East, how many games would Illinois win, right? So hold on, but before I go into pessimistic line, my question to you is this. Both times you've played East teams, you've dominated everything. You've won time of possession, which you absolutely dominated Indiana on. You had better time of possession against Michigan State, not necessarily dominance. You outgained them. I mean, everything on a stat sheet would tell you that when you played Indiana and Michigan State, you were the better team. Is Illinois the better team?
Yes. Illinois is the better team, but you can't – the great equalizer is red zone, turnovers, special teams, fourth down.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't know if it was a coincidence that those happened against the East teams or –
I think it's a coincidence. Listen,
okay.
I mean, Maryland got bushwhacked by Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, we would beat Maryland. I think we would beat Rutgers. We'll see how we match up against Michigan and Ohio State. I don't know, right?
And that's kind of the reason I'm asking you that.
last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I mean, so like my thing is this, is you look at the last 10 games, going back to Northwestern last year, there's not been a game where we haven't dominated.
Right. Simply put.
We've dominated.
I agree.
We dominated Michigan State in everything but some of the very critical things, and I thought, here's the thing people aren't talking about. I thought it was our worst O-line's game. O-line's worst game. Here's why. Short yardage, our front line did not hold up well to some of their penetration, their run-stopping blitzes.
Right.
They had a lot of negative, like Cal Halliday, the guy who had no gloves, number 27, the throwback linebacker. He was making plays all over the field. Lots of tackles for losses and stuff. So they were getting penetration. Yep. We weren't getting a ton of push, okay? And I actually thought they protected decent. I thought a lot of them were coverage sacks. Our guys were not getting open. Guys, Deuce Span's gone. We don't have one guy to stretch the field. And Deuce Span caught 2 balls. So
yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, we don't really have a guy that can stretch the field. I think Pat Bryant at some point could be that guy. I don't think he is. I also think in the red zone, we don't have a bunch of huge bodies that we can throw it to.
Nope.
So it's been tough.
I think that most people, the common narrative I heard after the game or saw on Twitter, the message boards, was that Barry Lunny had a really poor game. Now, you look on paper, 441 yards total. You mentioned that, but red zone and then short yardage where you just seem to be running into Michigan State's front where they were selling out on your run up the gut in 3rd and 1. You ran and you either lost yardage or you didn't get any. What did you make of some of those calls by him and maybe not pressing the right buttons? I think Lon mentioned it before the show too. When you had the wind, there were a lot of checkdowns or just running it and not using that to your advantage in the passing game.
That was weird to me.
So I think that was the biggest thing was I thought we would attack more when we had the win.
I did
Even
too.
Brett said in his post-game press conference, hey, if we have the win, let's open it up a little bit. I think he said that. Like, it started the third quarter, rather. But I'll tell you the calls I hated and tell you the calls I liked. They put Chase Brown at fullback one time. And I, as the linebacker, I'm like, it's going to Chase Brown. Duh. Right? I mean, like, if you have half a brain, I'm
automatically,
I'm like, bam. Okay, that's what they were thinking too. I was like, done.
That's
okay,
easy. That one's
right?
easy.
That one's easy. The 4th down play in the beginning of the game was executed poorly, but the guy was open.
Yeah.
He threw it in between 2 receivers. It was one of the worst miscommunications or something that's going on. Okay. 2 calls I liked. Okay. I liked the Isaiah Williams second half touchdown call. They condensed the formation, got everybody tight, brought him in a jet motion, pitched it to him, got outside, good block. I like the 2-point conversion. Put Chase Brown out there with 3 tight ends. Oh, they're going to throw it. pump to Chase, hit him with the old okey doke pump and go to Tip Ryman, right?
Yep.
I like some of those things. All right. I like Tip Ryman down there, on the boot action. Second game in a row, we've seen him get some good. He's going to be an NFL tight end. Maybe not this year. He's like 270. And catching the football.
He's a big boy.
He's a big dude, right? So I like those calls. What I don't like is 2nd and 1 from the 20. Let's run up the gut with Reggie Love. Fourth quarter, not a fan. Let's put Chase Brown in for 4th down on 4th and 1. Let's run the exact same play. Mm-hmm. I don't like that, right? I didn't actually mind the little pitch out to Chase Brown that he dropped. Here's the thing you got to remember on a pitch. On a pitch, a running back has to look the ball in before he can cut. Where on a handoff, he can look before he gets the ball because the ball's going to come to his gut no matter what, right? So you got to understand his eyes were kind of trapped on that. I think Cal Halliday, number 27, who had a whale of a game, was kind of in the way. I think he'd probably get that first down. I don't mind the creativity of Barry Lunny, but sometimes it does seem like we get in a rut. But honestly, let's talk about Wisconsin. He has like 30 yards in the first half against Wisconsin, Chase Brown. But then they keep, and we knew if we got pounding, we get a big break. They got it, right?
Boom, they did.
They didn't get that big break. They just got a bunch of 4 or 5, sometimes some 10-yard runs. They didn't get that this game.
Yeah.
So now they look like, you're not really that smart, right? So those are some of the thoughts I have about it.
I've got a lot of questions, but you've got a lot of sponsors that make this show possible, Jay Lehman.
Guys, you wouldn't get to hear a pessimistic line if it wasn't for Iroquois Federal. Guys, Iroquois Federal, you need a home loan, hit it up. Guys, mortgage rates are skyrocketing. That's where service really takes advantage of it. That's what Iroquois Federal can do. Talk to Bob Guido. Talk to Mark McHale. Talk to Brenda Crane, Ryan Lowry. They get the loans done for you. Dick Van Dyke Appliance. Did I tell you that I got a fridge last week? I did.
You said you needed one.
I got the cafe edition from General Electric. Let's go.
Did you have to tackle anybody outside of Dick Van Dyke?
Well, there were some people that won some bad deals. Lowe's, Home Depot.
I still love that
If you live in Champaign, why would you go somewhere like that to the big box store? Right? We don't want the big box store. The Joint Chiropractic, man, hey, some of those guys took some hits. The Joint Chiropractic gets you right.
Oh, my.
Located on South Neal. Insurance, IPG Insurance, Kyle Lewis. Email Kyle at ipgins.com. And, of course, our favorite, the Long Branch Steakhouse.
Oh, yeah, baby. Iroquois Federal, you mentioned. We're going to hear from them here in a second. I do have questions about throwing the ball deep. Is it more Lunny? Is it more DeVito? In other words, were the throws maybe there to make and maybe they just didn't do it? It did seem like Illinois would jump to the line a lot and get that first down rush to Chase Brown. It would only go for about 1 or 2 yards, and they kept doing it, and it felt like to me you were just getting behind the chains by doing that. I want to ask you about those two things. Pipe's got plenty more as well. Let's hit a break. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255, 217-359-2255. I know Randy on the U of I Atlantic Lake text line said, kick the field goal, quit going for it so much. I did want to see the field goal the very first drive.
Get some points.
I wanted to get points. If your defense is that good, and it is, then go ahead and get the lead. Or maybe, Jay, you can tell me when we come back, that's the wrong way to look at it. Maybe with the defense that good, you take chances at touchdowns knowing that your defense will bail you out if they don't score. So we got a lot to cover. We'll do it next. It is The Draw.
Sure, we offer push-button mortgage applications, but when it comes to getting the money for the house of your dreams, we offer something far more advanced, and we call her Brenda, a real person who knows you better than any app and works hard to make things simple. Cutting through red tape, meeting you outside the office, and in between life's busy moments. For a great rate and a great deal, call Brenda at Iroquois Federal Champaign and let her help you get home. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 472172.
Hi, this is Chris Jackson with Kramer Siding and Window, and we're proud to be your choice for the 2021 People's Choice Awards for the 3rd year in a row. We want to say thank you by offering buy one, get one 50% off on all windows. And you can save 10% on roofing, sunrooms, and decks. So call today or visit us at kramersiding.com. And remember, at Kramer Siding and Window, you have a friend in the business.
If you want a steak, I mean a steak, prepared the way you want it, you've got to go to Long Branch Steakhouse. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. It's been over a year since I was introduced to Donnie at the Long Branch Steakhouse in Gifford. And when I want a great steak, that's where I go. And the sides, the Brussels sprouts, the mac and cheese, and the salad with Donnie's secret frog dressing. Long Branch Steakhouse in downtown Gifford. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. there's always room for the Long Branch Steakhouse.
We're not far from the new year, and it's time to start thinking travel. Hi, it's Stevie J with Stevie J Travel, inviting you to our travel show, Champaign Public Library, on November 16th from 10 to 11:30 in the Ropesman Pavilion Rooms A and B, and find out where we're going in 2023. Places like New England, rails and trails, or Tuscany for a culinary journey. How about Hawaii and a little island hopping? Or maybe the Canadian Rockies and glaciers? Or how about Cuba? Yes, Cuba's on our agenda next year as well. Find out all about it. Come to the Champaign Public Library November 16th and learn about where you might be going in 2023. Again, Champaign Public Library is where we'll be November 16th from 10 to 11:30 in the Ropesman Pavilion Rooms A and B. For all the information, go to StevieJay.com. Stevie J Travel. Where do you want to go?
If you're in the market for a new car battery, you could go to one of those big box stores, except there's no guarantee you'll be served by an actual car expert.
Clean up in aisle 3.
You could pick a battery off the shelf, except it might be close to expiring. Or you could just come into Interstate. Don't make a big box store blunder. With competitive prices and a more personal, reliable approach, Interstate Batteries is the clear-cut choice if you want to guarantee yourself a new and trustworthy car battery. They're open and ready to serve you at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign.
Get back to the things you need and love to do with physical therapy at Mettler Center. Two of the biggest barriers to starting therapy are getting a referral from your doctor and insurance coverage. But good news, Illinois is a direct access state, so you can start therapy without a doctor's referral. In addition, at Mettler, we accept all major insurances: Health Alliance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, HealthLink, Medicare, and most recently, Aetna and Cigna. We invite you to schedule a complimentary 30-minute consultation today. Visit us at MettlerCenter.com.
Christmas time is here, and this is your year for a tree that brings cheer with a tree guarantee that keeps the glee. And it's all right here at Prairie Gardens. You'll find unique holiday decor and sparkling ornaments galore, handmade wreaths, candles, and more. And all at generous savings you'll adore. Because when you're at Prairie Gardens, you make your Christmas as unique as you. Extraordinary gardening, home decor, framing, and...
Ho, ho, ho!
It's totally Christmas!
It is The Drive. Good morning. I forgot to say that. The Drive with Tay and Piper, Lonte, Derek Piper. I've lost my voice when I was yelling at Mel Tucker in Michigan State for seemingly taking the penalty or not taking the penalty, and then all of a sudden, oh, we're going to kick a field goal. Hold on a second.
I said take the penalty, but the ref said it was his fault.
Can you even do that?
The ref said it was their fault.
Okay.
No, you can't do that. Once he says decline or accept and he announces it, you can't change it.
Isn't that like in baseball when they announce the pinch hitter? You can't. I don't know. Look, that didn't cost you the game, right? I understand that, but that did tick me off to no end, and now I can hardly talk on Monday. Thanks a lot, Michigan State.
It ticked me off in the fake injuries or real injuries.
Yeah.
We'll call them real, I guess. But the injuries, they were back in 2 or 3.
They did what they needed to do, right?
Yep.
All right, throwing deep. I just want to ask this because I tweeted it out after the game. I was not happy with it. I thought that, and I've seen out of Tommy DeVito, I know we don't have Randy Moss running down the sideline, right, to throw it up to, but we have capable guys that can sprint down the field. I mean, Isaiah Williams has to be fast, right? That's all. I've always heard this, and I've seen it. So why didn't they try to throw the ball deep? If nothing else, just to let Michigan State know that this is in the repertoire.
I don't know if I have a great answer for you because I was asking myself, especially when you had the wind, right?
Yes.
And maybe this is why Tommy DeVito
I'm guessing I could have thrown it 40 yards in that wind.
Guys, you don't become number one in completion percentage in the country by throwing deep balls.
Correct.
So our offense is a lot of short passes and try to make a guy miss, and we saw Isaiah do that, and obviously got a big play out of it, right? I'm trying to remember how many deep posts I've seen this year, deep balls. I caught one. Me, Pat Bryant's caught a couple.
Yeah.
Hightower caught one against Minnesota.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So we see a couple.
Yeah, we don't do it a lot, but
we don't do it a ton.
Right. But you also don't have 28 mile an hour, 30 mile an hour wind behind you to get it up there.
Just throw it up there, let somebody run under it, right? That makes it more accurate. We saw that with Peyton Thorne the first throw of the game. Wow. That got batted down and Sidney caught it. Throwing to Daniel Barker first play of the game. That's interesting. And Sidney got the pick.
Well, it all worked for Barker, didn't it?
Let's circle back to the injuries, Jay. Have you ever faced a team that's tried to do that against you guys, or have you seen that to that extent?
First of all, my dad always told me, listen, son, you're not good enough to act hurt ever, because then they're going to get Wally pipped, which is basically the guy that came in for Lou Gehrig, right? Or Lou Gehrig came in for Wally Pipp, and you never go back in. I was terrified to act hurt at all. Like, I remember being so hurt and being like, man, I got to make through 2 more plays, then I'll feel better. Like, I remember all this stuff, and not good stuff. Like, sometimes just like, I can't feel my arm, I can't lift my right arm.
Yeah, and that's not healthy.
That's not healthy. Or like, man, I hate to say it, I can't think straight. Where am I kind of thing?
Right,
you got to walk around. So it's not all healthy, but these guys didn't look concussed, and they certainly walked off of their own power.
They did.
Right?
Every one of them.
Everyone.
After about 5 seconds.
Quan Martin, I thought, was down for a while, and he did come back later in the game. So it happens.
Yeah.
But like, some of these guys were like, I mean, it was the same dude over and over. It's like, there should be a rule. Listen, if you're going to do 2 injuries like this, you got to sit out for 15 plays. Like, if you're going to, you keep
Somebody
hurt.
just said until a change of possession if you're that hurt.
Yeah, that's good. We got some good text here. Who was that big def?
That just happened. It was 217. Simple rule change. Any defensive player that must have an injury timeout must remain out until a change of possession.
I love it. I actually, our text guys, man, I mean, our text fans over here.
We've got so many, it's hard for me to read them all.
And here's the deal. Like, I got one right here. It says, thoughts the 2 losses are the same. The offense plays not to lose too much, which we're talking about. We weren't physical enough. We were, basically predictable on that. We had Randy from Urbana say, kick the field goal like Lon. Marcus from Colorado, he's always all about it. He wanted to know about the injuries as well.
Right.
Mike from Sedoris just down the road. He says, gut check time against Purdue. Will the old Illinois team show up and fold like the cheap lawn chair?
No.
Special teams killed us, but the LBs must play better. Another guy mentioned the LBs. I think it was Jason saying, hey, I worried about the LBs all year in pass coverage, right? And now Coleman's in protocol, so is Taz. So we got a lot of different people here that got some really good things they're texted in, which I love. Big Def is a good big fan. Big Def 72. He said, doing the Lord's work, talking about that game, gents. The Sting is just too great for me to revisit. I'm out having family time to recharge the batteries and get back to neutral. But I know you're all on now. We'll listen to today's show in the morning. So, hey, I love it. I love that he can't even listen right now, guys. That's how painful it is for people. But I think why it's painful, guys, is we've been Illinois fans as long as we have this psychic damage of here it goes again.
We do.
It's even my son says that was kind of Illinois-ish.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't want you to think like that. We're changing the culture.
Although when I got out there, though, I didn't feel like this would be a hangover to where Purdue would beat us. I just thought, well, we got beat. And I was mad about a few things that we've addressed today, and I know Pipes has questions coming up, but not one time have I then immediately thought, oh, we're going to lose to Purdue.
No.
I don't think we'll lose. I think we'll beat Purdue. I think we'll hammer Northwestern, and I think we'll be in Indy, which is exactly what you would love to do as an Illinois fan.
We're in a great position.
Never did I think Illinois would be in Indy.
So I really believe that in a game like this, 2 years ago, we were lost 42-7.
That's a good point.
We had a chance to tie the game twice. Yep. I mean, maybe not great chances. The first chance was good. I mean, the second we ran out of time.
Yeah.
But we would be so far blown up. We played that bad and lost by 8 to a Big Ten East team. I mean, it's not that bad.
Well said.
To look ahead to this weekend with Purdue getting drubbed by Iowa early in that game and letting Spencer Petras actually throw the ball for some yards, which nobody else was on board with that this season. What have you thought of the Boilers dropping one? I know Illinois was then probably Illinois fans watching that game like, oh, well, we should win this game.
Sure.
Should beat Purdue is trending in the wrong direction. Now Illinois drops that one as well. What do you make of that matchup, and what maybe stands out for Illinois to clean up to be ready for that, and what should they be able to do against Purdue that's had them struggling?
First of all, we need to stop. Illinois fans need to stop saying we shoulda, woulda. You're going to should on yourself, basically, right? And they did against Indiana.
I've never heard that.
Well, when you're a pastor's kid, you think of ways, boys. All right, so so shoulda, woulda, coulda. I mean, Indiana sucks.
Yep.
Michigan State has athletes, but we should have beat them, right? And guess what? We lost to 2 teams with 2 losing records, right? We got bad losses. If there's such thing as bad losses, we got some bad losses, right?
Yep.
Some bad beats, right? So I would say we should. But when I look at Purdue, we're more physically dominant in this football team. Here's the problem with Purdue. If you get in a game where it's back and forth in the fourth quarter and you got to throw the ball to win the game, they usually come out on top because they can throw the football. But if you can squash them early on, dominate the line of scrimmage, run the football, win time of possession, you can dominate them. But if the longer they hang in, the bigger chance they're going to have, right? And that's not the case for every team, right? I mean, like, I always think Iowa's always going to hang in there no matter what, but Purdue, if they get to the fourth quarter with their quarterback having the ball, they're going to make a play.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yep.
And they're going to live and die off trying to get turnovers and big plays. We negate those, we'll win this game. We're a better football team than Purdue. No question.
Oh, I agree.
We should be and I think Brett and the seniors would put it on themselves. If they didn't win this game, they should win this game. They know they should win this game. Looking at the tape.
Iowa has a really good secondary, but still they couldn't hold down Charlie Jones, 11 catches, 104 yards, albeit Purdue lost and only put up 3 points. But can Illinois slow him down? We saw Jaden Reed, the game that he had. You mentioned that Witherspoon took out Keon Coleman, but what do you think about Jones against this secondary?
Well, I would love to see Witherspoon on Charlie Jones. I mean, because he shut down, was it Trey Palmer?
Trey Palmer.
And Coleman. I'm ready for him to take on Charlie Jones. Now, Charlie Jones is funny because Charlie Jones knows that Iowa team better than anything. He transferred from Iowa.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think he kind of knows. He probably knew what to do a little bit better than maybe the average person as a receiver. Jones is going to – they always have receivers going to get their yards, right? I mean, David Bell for years. Milton Wright had some years. Rondale Moore, right? They can develop receivers over there. So they're going to get some yards. A receiver getting 100 yards, though, ain't going to win you a game.
No.
And he's going to get some yards. But I just think overall from a physical standpoint, we're so much better up front. I was more worried about Michigan State than I was Purdue. And that's true. I said, man, Michigan State has enough athletes.
Interesting.
That they could handle, and they did handle us up front a little bit.
They did.
Right?
They did.
Now, we had more yards and stuff, but there's times they were able to be stout by bringing extra guys, and we never lengthened the field.
So you think whatever you saw Saturday is correctable? You said the offensive line obviously didn't play their best. Maybe our defense wasn't at its best, but isn't it amazing we gave up 23 points and that's the most? Right. Like how many years have we given up 23 and that was the best?
I was at Iowa. I was calling the Iowa game for the Big Ten Network. We had given up 35 points with 12 minutes to go in the second quarter. Okay, that's how bad it was. Now, but here's what I'll say about Barry Lunney and what he said two press conferences ago. He said, I was most excited about our offensive line coming out of spring. Guys, the thing that nobody talks about is this is an offensive line-driven football team. You don't have the leading rusher without having a great offensive line. No doubt. You don't, you aren't in the top 20 in sacks allowed with having a great offensive line. I think they played their worst game.
Okay.
I think they played their worst game. Maybe it was the opponent. Maybe it was the scheme. Maybe it was a combination of both. Those guys got to play better. Brett mentioned it. He didn't throw them to the wolves. He said those guys got to play better up front. Yeah. If you're a Brett Bielema football team, he wins when the O-line dominates. We've dominated in games. We've pushed. I watched the first quarter in Nebraska, and I saw the D-line just push back. Even though we were down 9 seconds, like this game's going to be done.
Right.
They can't stop us. But they were actually stout at the point of attack, and that was made it difficult.
Jay, red zone continues to be an issue. It's been a broken record week after week. And what if they just said, all right, we need a defensive perspective. Let's bring in Jay Lehman, have him draw up what's the fix in the red zone. What would you do if
wheel route?
They said we've tried all these different things.
Wheel route works.
We've met as our offensive staff, and we still can't come up with the answers. What would you try if you're trying to fix some of Illinois' red zone problems?
So great question. So I like the condensed formation they showed to get because the condensed formation. That pulls the defense in, and then they use it to get Isaiah Williams on the edge, right? So what I would do is I would incorporate more quarterback run. I know DeVito ran. They simply missed a block. They had it blocked up, okay? Quarterback run is a huge X factor when it comes to the red zone because stuff breaks down and a lot of man coverage in the red zone, which means if you're watching your man, you're not watching the quarterback, okay? Number 2 is this. I would get a little bit more I would mix up. I would give the ball to Chase Brown, but I would mix it up in the way that you do it. Not necessarily the fullback thing, but like I would love to see Chase Brown as a receiver on a jet sweep.
Yeah.
I think that's cool, right? I would love to see some different run plays as well that maybe a little bit different blocking scheme with that. So I'd love to see a lot of some different things like that. I still think we've really struggled to have a big target like the back shoulder fade target.
Yeah.
We're like we tried it with Pat Bryant last week, Hightower sometimes. I think we really need to incorporate the tight ends in the 2-point conversion. We did that, right? And what's great about the tight ends is you can have big personnel but still throw the football, right? I would love to see more bootlegs in there. I haven't seen one bootleg from Tommy. Hey, under center, bootleg. Hey, you got a chance to throw the tight end in the flat, tight end deep, or run the football. Give yourself options and use the field accordingly.
Can Luke Ford be utilized more in that, or is he just not that guy? Because he's a name right now, but he's just production-wise, he's not in what we thought.
Here's the thing. Luke Ford made a good catch, right? I think he can catch the football. I think Tip Ryman's beat him out.
Yep.
From what I can see from the
Yep.
reps. I mean, Tip Ryman was a walk-on. Luke Ford was a 4-star, you know? Sometimes that's how it works. So I think Luke's a good, solid football. I think Marquese is a good, solid football. I actually like all our tight ends. I think they're really solid. I think they're all better than Daniel Barker. And so, you know, I mean, I think Luke Ford can get more touches? Yes. But I think Tip Ryman's beat him out? Yes.
Were you better than Martez Wilson?
I was a better football player, but not a better athlete.
Got it.
I think as far as you know, tackling and maybe knowledge of the game, yes. As far as running, flash plays, ability to cover in space, he was better than me by far.
Yeah, cool.
And that's why he was in the NFL, not me, right? And that's why I was a 5-star. But, you know, I say football player, I mean, you know, the overachiever.
No, I get it.
That's what I mean.
You were All-American.
I think
it pretty much ends the argument anywhere.
I think he's a better athlete than me, and that's why he had a better.
Even though we now know he let guys pick up first down so he could get more tackles.
See, it's all coming out.
Guys, listen, that was it.
They can't take the All-American award back.
But you know, it drives me crazy as a fan. I'm like, get the ball back. Stop getting the first down. Like 3rd and 2. Like, oh man,
this is like Reggie Bush with the Heisman, right?
After this soundbite, when Reggie gets his Heisman back, they got to take away the All-American from Jay.
I like it. I love the text message. We got we're hyping some people up. So the guy who 217-414, he said, "I'll keep the text coming." Fitzy has been doing fake injuries with Northwestern with it for about 10 years now. So I was like, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
You guys, and then how about Kenny Daughter? He says, I don't know if you guys discussed this or not, but you agree that the refs missed Miami Dolphins committing pass interference on Chase Claypool. I missed this game. Did they miss it?
It was horrible. Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah. Talk about missed pass interference. They missed a couple pass interferences in this game.
Big time.
I mean,
they let him play.
They let him play. Usually that helps us too, right?
Yep, I agree. And I said that right when the game started. I'm like, well, not right when it, but after a few penalties on both, I'm like, well, they're letting them play, and that's fine.
Well, how about
let the better team win?
Rick from Leroy says, hey, MSU had what? 8 guys suspended? Yeah, that and 8 guys hurt that came back, and also 5 4th down stops. So that will make the difference, right?
That hurt.
Jason Ron from Tuscola. This guy's texted 4 times, guys. On this alone. So let me just read off, because you're a fan. Before I do that, I'm going to sponsor this Jason Ron text by Iroquois Federal.
Boom.
Sponsor. I know we got a text line sponsor, but this one from Jason. Iroquois Federal, what a great lender. Dick Van Dyke, The Joint, IPG Insurance, Long Branch Steakhouse. You guys ready for Jason Ron's text messages?
Let's go.
Here we go. Isaiah has the speed to be a deep threat. I can only remember them trying it once this season. He was clocked at 21.2 miles an hour as TD run. That's sick. I don't know how he got that. That was legit. Hey, he says fans, a.k.a. Lon, need to step back and breathe. No, he didn't say Lon. I'm just kidding. Need to step back and breathe. There isn't a single person who had them 7-2 at this point. And he says Purdue is a dangerous
But it's
tight
okay. I hate that crap. I hate that crap, Jason. It's okay, though, to not be upset. I mean, it's okay to be upset.
Yeah.
Why not be 8-1?
Okay.
I mean, let's don't. I hate when people say that crap.
Here we go.
So he hates
We're 40 minutes in. We've been due for one of these.
There we go.
I mean, what the hell? Well, who would have thought we'd have 7 wins? Well, right, but we do. You do. And you were you were favored by 17 points against the team. And you lost.
And Indiana's lost 6 in a row. They stink.
You blew it against these teams. It's that simple. So, sorry. I love Jason. But Jason and I know each other. But I just hate that kind of stuff.
Lod's face is the same color as his shirt.
I know. I hate that kind of crap.
We should be 9-0.
Right. Why can't? Oh, well, it's okay that we lose. No, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry.
You got the last 2 texts canceled now, Jason. Sorry, buddy. We can't read them.
No, Jason's awesome. I mean, nobody knows as much about Illinois football as he does. Yeah. He loves it. He loves it. And he got me fired up. That was his goal.
That's what we needed. That's the whole way we go.
Well, obviously, Jason, you're not the only one that tells me. Somebody told me that in the tailgate line. I'm like, yeah, but Lon, who would have thought I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. I can't predict things. So who would have thought the Cardinals won the World Series in 06? I don't know. Does that mean I would have been okay if they didn't? No.
I think Biff would have known. His book only read in 2015, you know.
Sorry, I got out of hand there.
We're talking about Back to the Future now, but Jason has to go down. Hey, why not use Ryan as fullback on the goal line? I like that.
I do
got
too.
loud and fired up. He says, hey, Purdue has a dangerous tight end. Yeah, Payne Durham, I think his name is. Jones, the incredible wide receiver in the slot. They'll all be overall LBs again. I don't know if Jones will be all. I think they're going to move Spoon with him.
Yeah.
Walters has to adjust this game. Yeah, he has to adjust. I still think we're a really solid D. I got confidence in those guys.
Let's just go whip their ass and get back on the right side.
And get some beef house.
You know what? If you
after we get Long Branch, and after I eat my top sirloin,
yes.
I had a guy come up to me and said, dude, that was hilarious. Jay Ramshaw, I sit by him in the game. He's like, dude, I cracked up when I heard that story about
awesome.
About the Alexander Steakhouse. About, dude, you thought a top sirloin was the best cut of meat.
It's like, that was great to me. We still have questions. I still have questions for you, Jay. We're not done yet. If Illinois can beat Purdue, and if they can beat Northwestern, they're going to play in this.
The 2022 Big Ten Football Championship game presented by Discover returns to Indianapolis December 3rd at Lucas Oil Stadium. Tickets are on sale now at big10.org/FCG tickets. Every ticket also includes complimentary admission to the Big Ten Fan Fest presented by Dr. Pepper. Don't miss the action. Purchase your ticket today for the 2022 Big Ten Football Championship game.
Hey folks, this is State Senator Chapin Rosen. J.B. Pritzker's run around the state asking for your vote, telling you everything's fine. Well, you and I know it's not fine. Go to the grocery store. It's not fine. The Safety Act the governor signed it into law, saying it was great, and then 2 weeks before the election he says he wants to change it. Why is that, Governor? Maybe it's because you should have never signed it in the first place. The incompetence knows no bounds. For our state retirees, group health insurance program, he signs and inks a deal with an insurance company that doesn't even have local providers of health care for our citizens to go to. What kind of a governor does that? Is it a governor that's deliberately doing his job for the best interest of the people of the state of Illinois? Or is it a governor that really doesn't know what he's doing and signing whatever people put in front of him? At the end of the day, folks, I stand up to J.B. Pritzker in Springfield. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th, but this is also your chance as a citizen to tell J.B. Pritzker and the rest of the Democratic Party in this state, from the county to the executive mansion, that you've had enough. Please join me in voting Republican. Paid for by friends at Chapin Rose.
Sure, we offer push-button mortgage applications, but when it comes to getting the money for the house of your dreams, we offer something far more advanced, and we call her Brenda. A real person who knows you better than any app and works hard to make things simple, cutting through red tape, meeting you outside the office, and in between life's busy moments. For a great rate and a great deal, call Brenda at Iroquois Federal Champaign and let her help you get home. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 472172.
Big Bad Night, Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
What do you mean, I get the whole store?
I'm Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. And when we promise you the whole store, we mean all we do is appliances. We offer a showroom full of the top appliance brands, complete with our free 10-year protection plan.
Who does your warranty work? Some outfit with a 1-800 number?
No way! Our service and installation technicians are employed and factory trained by us. And our protection plan means you pay nothing for covered repairs.
So, I get a free 10-year protection plan, a guaranteed best deal, a hometown service department, and a showroom full of name brand appliances? Wow!
Hey lady, that's my line. All we do is appliances, and we do them better than anyone else. Wow!
Big Bad Night, Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
If you want a steak, I mean a steak, prepared the way you want it, you've got to go to Long Branch Steakhouse. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. It's been over a year since I was introduced to Donnie at the Long Branch Steakhouse in Gifford. And when I want a great steak, that's where I go. And the sides, the Brussels sprouts, the mac and cheese, and the salad with Donnie's secret frog dressing. Long Branch Steakhouse in downtown Gifford. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. there's always room for the Long Branch Steakhouse.
Thinking of selling your home? Today's market is crazy, but one way you can be sure to stand out is by replacing your old flooring with new hardwood. And the best place to do it is Carpet Weavers in Champaign. Carpet Weavers boast the industry's best brands, including Shaw, Mohawk, Paramount, and more. When it comes to natural beauty and a rich quality, nothing beats new flooring from Carpet Weavers. And they have financing options for your budget, so you can always afford the floor you truly want. Increase the value of your home by installing new, high-quality options from Carpet Weavers. Find out more online at carpetweaversflooring.com.
Illinois football is back. Shop at Game Day Spirit this fall and gear up to support your Fighting Illini football team. With great football designs and brand new apparel from top brands, they're the one-stop shop to get everything you need this football season. Shop with them at the corner of Neal and Kirby in Champaign, 6th and Green in Campustown, and online 24/7 at GameDaySpirit.com. Game Day Spirit, where Illini fans shop.
Let's go. Yeah, somebody just texted in 630. I want to use my Indy hotel reservation. Great idea, by the way. Go ahead and nail those down. Man, Jay, I got fired up and I forgot what I was going to ask you about Purdue. But, I mean, is there something about a Purdue team that does throw all the time, and we really haven't faced a team that does that? Is there a? I don't think we have, right? Indiana did. Indiana
did. Kind of throw a lot.
Never mind. Yeah, they threw like 40-some times. That's right.
That didn't end well.
No. So is there something about a team that's just going to sling it all over and probably just say, well, this is our only chance?
Here's the thing. I thought this was the first time when you go back to 2021 that Ryan Walters' defense actually played really solid.
Mm-hmm.
When they played against Purdue. They were in that game really late. We didn't have an offense. We couldn't complete a pass, right? But we played pretty solid. Also, let's not mention the weather again, but it's supposed to be like 35 degrees and windy again.
Ooh.
That's tough for an offense like that. You would think, although we saw what happened with Michigan State.
Well, no doubt.
Right?
They threw against the wind.
So I don't know if they – I really want Seth Coleman to get back because I think he brings a lot of pressure off the edge, right? And that's a huge deal when it comes to –
That's huge.
Aiden O'Connell throwing the ball. Listen, nobody can complete any passes on his back, right?
Right.
So Gabe Akis is good. Johnny Newton's good. But when you have – Randolph, and then you put Coleman on the edge as well, I think it makes it really, really difficult to get the ball out. So I think that's important.
That's good points.
How many points does it take? If you're sitting in the office, Barry Lenny Jr., not that they do this, but how would
that'd be funny if they did.
How productive will the offense have to be? You give up 23 to Michigan State. Purdue's a better offense than that. Not to say that Illinois will not fix some things defensively. What do you think they'll have to do offensively to win this game?
Guys, we score 25 points, we win this game. We'd win every game if we score 25 points, right? I mean, no, we've lost by the two teams we lost and scored 23. But what do they have to do? I think, as Glenn Mason used to tell me all the time, he'd say, figures lie and liars figure. I mean, he said about stats all the time. And I never got what he meant. But, we can look at the stats. We look at the yards or, this. The only stat that really matters is scoring defense. Really, that's it. Do they score or not? Because there's a lot of things that go into that. Third down, there's a lot of things. But, rushing yards or passing yards. But when I look at it, man, there are momentum-changing big plays. Like, for instance, I'm in the red zone at the 7-yard line. They stop us on a third down, or we stop somebody. Well, that's a 4-point play because now instead of getting 7 points,
that's a good point.
I get 3 points, right? Or fourth down, or turnovers, or critical errors on special teams. All those things can turn the momentum and make the stats irrelevant. And so we've got to be better in critical moments. I don't think we've been good in critical moments in the games we've lost.
How does the team bounce back after a loss? Obviously, you were on good teams at Illinois, also on some teams that weren't good, but I guess after, I don't want to say a surprising loss, but again, you were a 17-point favorite in that thing. Are you worried at all about the bounce back, and how does that work inside that locker room?
I think, and this is a cliche thing to say, I think it's a wake-up call before you start playing the teams you really need to play.
Okay.
We really need to beat Purdue. We want to see where we're at with Michigan in the Big Ten Championship. We're probably going to face Ohio State or Michigan. You can't just show up, okay?
Right.
We don't have explosive stuff where we can run away with games. Ohio State does have that. They can run away with games,
Yes,
right?
they can.
Michigan has enough power to power over people, right? They kind of started slow against Michigan State and ended up winning by 3 touchdowns or more. So I think it's a good wake-up call. I do think, hey, whenever you lose a game you're supposed to win, which wasn't many games that I had at Illinois, right? I do think it does hurt.
Okay.
Because you're like, oh, man.
You feel like you lost that chance. Yeah.
Well, and the momentum, and we had a winning streak going, and we hadn't lost in our home field, and it was a sellout, and you feel like an ownership, close to a sellout, an ownership of like, man, we blew it.
Do you need Coach Bielema to tell you all the good things that can still happen?
I think you need Coach Bielema to say how bad you were at first. Hey, face it. And then say, hey,
still got a lot to play for.
All this here. I think so. I think when you're 20 years old, yeah. Because here's the deal. People love you and then they hate you in sports, right? I mean, oh, he's great. Oh, he sucks, right?
That's me and Kyler Murray every game, every other play.
Hey, Kyler Murray's what, 25? I mean, shoot. I mean, these guys, some of them just start playing. So, I mean, they're up and they're down. So I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be ready to play.
Jay, are you bummed out you won't be on College game day on Saturday?
So they're not coming because we thought they were going to come if they won.
And kudos to the one kid down in Georgia that was throwing up the sign saying be in Champaign next week. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that would have been great.
Yeah, somebody texted, who was it? Somebody texted me and said, we went from having college game day to an 11 a.m. game with 30-degree weather.
That's a turn of events right there.
That stinks.
I'm bummed, though. I wouldn't be the guest picker. That'd be Lon.
No, I'd be too fired.
I think they would have brought in Dick Buckus, I think, for it.
Yeah, I think that would have been good. Hey, you need to let us know about your wonderful sponsors that make this happen every Monday.
Iroquois Federal, your place for all your loan lending needs. Mark McHale, Bob Guido, little clap right there. Thank you very much. Ryan Lowry, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World for all your, it's in Champaign, Urbana, Bloomington, Decatur, Springfield Institution, the Joint Chiropractic, IPG Insurance, Kyle at IPGINS.com, home, auto, life, all of your insurance needs, and of course, Long Branch Steakhouse.
We are going to be at Pia's this Friday. You know, Jay, you're always welcome.
Yeah.
You do so many things. It's the last thing I want to do is continue to make you work for us.
Well, I might have to stop by.
Yeah, if you can, we'd love it. And you're always welcome in. So we'll be at Pia's if you can come out and join us. Jay Lehman, as always, great job, my friend.
See ya.
We will talk to everybody soon. It is The Drive.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands, owner of Lands Inc. You never realize how much you rely on the plumbing in your home until something goes wrong. A small leak can end up with a big repair if it's not taken care of right away. At the first sign of trouble, visit landsinc.com. While there, learn more about plumbing, drain cleaning, and underground solutions. At Lands Inc., our commitment is to you, the customer. We look forward to having you be a part of the Lands family. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
Like most banks, we offer an app that lets you do pretty much everything you need from your pocket. But at Iroquois Federal, we believe great banking is less about the app you tap and more about what you tap into. And for us, that's a hometown bank where decisions are made locally by the same folks you'll bump into on the bleachers at the next big game, providing the hometown touch that's made us part of the community for nearly 140 years. Iroquois Federal, still friendly, still local, still here. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
With the holiday season upon us, we at Gale Frericks Trucking would like to take time out to express our appreciation and heartfelt thanks to our drivers and support staff. We take pride in making family and safety the top priorities at GFT. This is Operations Manager Donna Onstadt, inviting all Class A CDL holders in Central Indiana and Illinois to join our family so you can provide for and spend more time with your family. We offer paid holidays and vacations, home time every weekend and holiday, the industry's top pay package, safety and operations bonuses, rider program, insurance, $4,000 sign-on bonus, and more. Call 765-793-7131 or email timo@gftlog.com to join the GFT family and get pay and quality home time you can count on. 765-793-7131.
BMW, Buick, GMC, Honda, and Subaru. Welcome to Sarah Champagne. We can handle all your car repairs on site, including paintless dent repair, bumpers, windshields, everything in between. We have an amazing selection of new or pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Shop from home and buy online or reserve your vehicle before it hits our website or dealership. Sarah Champagne is home of the Sarah One Price Promise, delivering an honest and transparent buying experience. Hurry in or shop online at sarahchampagne.com.
Urbana Indoor Aquatic Center is open for public swimming. Lap swim Monday through Friday from 6 to 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Public swim Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 p.m. and Saturday, noon to 5 p.m. Memberships and punch cards available. Also, a great place to rent for parties. Swim this fall at Urbana Indoor Aquatic Center. For more information, visit urbanaparks.org. Urbana Park District. You belong here.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. That's a message from the White House one day before the midterm elections.
We may not know all the winners of elections for a few days. It takes time to count all legitimate ballots in a legal and orderly manner. That's how this is supposed to work.
Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, and she says the president will address the nation following the elections. In Georgia, there's another voting controversy as thousands of ballots are contested hours before they're counted.
More than 65,000 ballots have been challenged here in Fulton County, Georgia's most populous county. A new state law allows voters to challenge an unlimited number of ballots. Gabriel Sterling, COO of the Georgia Secretary of State's office, says some of the challenges have been taken to the extreme. He tells Fox 5 Atlanta if voters find they've been flagged,
have your ID, vote the provisional, then answer the questions that the board and the staff may have.
Sterling says most of the challenges have been tossed out, but a few have remained. In Atlanta, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
In Nashville, more than 430 voters cast ballots in the wrong race in early voting, a big jump from the initial number the Davidson County Election Commission provided last week. Election Administrator Jeff Roberts says the initial amount didn't take into account the final 3 days of early voting. Hurricane watches posted in the northwest Bahamas and Florida's Atlantic coast as Nicole approaches.
Nicole is near the Bahamas, but over the next few days, it will reach Florida's southeastern coast, making a lot of rain on and after Election Day. Some coastal and even inland counties are distributing sandbags. No evacuation orders have been called.
Fox's Evan Brown. Wall Street, the Dow added 423. The Nasdaq gained 89. The S&P plus 36. America is listening to Fox News.
It's Pro Time, which means at Lowe's, you're invited to enjoy a Lowe's Pro Happy Hour. Kick back with free Pepsi Cola drinks and Frito-Lay snacks. Plus, earn 3 times bonus points per dollar on purchases of select Pepsi products. Come into Lowe's and get the full MVP treatment at Pro Happy Hour on November 17th from 2 to 5 p.m. While supplies last. Bonus points offer valid 10/27 through 12/8. Calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. See Lowes.com/L/pro loyalty terms.
Come on, we're gonna be late to the cookout. I was just packing up my famous mac and cheese. I hope you packed the Pepto, too. Huh? Pepto-Bismol provides fast relief from heartburn and indigestion. You know, that uncomfortable feeling after you eat too much. And after the deviled eggs, baked beans, and barbecue ribs, you're gonna need it. Barbecue ribs? I should probably pack an extra shirt, too. Good call.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
After years of denial, a Russian businessman has admitted interfering in U.S. elections.
Yevgeny Prigozhin, nicknamed Putin's chef because of his catering contracts with the Kremlin, has admitted to cooking up plans to manipulate elections. On a Russian social media platform, Prigozhin vowed they would continue to interfere carefully, accurately, surgically. He added, "We will remove both the kidneys and the liver at once." The entrepreneur has been accused of sponsoring so-called troll farms of social media users. The FBI is offering $250,000 for his arrest. The State Department, $10 million for information about his activities. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres telling world leaders at the annual climate conference they must cooperate or perish, telling the U.S. and China in particular to work together for a World Solidarity Pact on climate issues. A new study finds political season stresses people out.
An American Psychological Association study found that 52% of people nationwide feel election stress is adding significantly to their day-to-day stress.
There really is a tangible difference in the atmosphere right now in the run-up time to an election.
At University of Denver psychologist Dr. Kim Gorgans, she describes how people in the October study say their behavior changed.
Barking at their kids, yelling at coworkers, having a shorter fuse with people in grocery lines.
The doctor says a way to diffuse it is by meditation, mindfulness, and deep breathing. Plus, she recommends limiting exposure to political ads. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Jimmy Kimmel gets another crack at the Oscars. The show's producers announcing Kimmel will host again his third time next March. In a statement, they said they're super excited to have Jimmy score his hat trick on the global stage. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather. Free Sunspot, Champaign, and vicinity. Certainly action-packed over the past weekend with that high and damaging wind. 66-mile-per-hour wind gust noted over at Willard and Savoy. Meanwhile, severe weather with dozens of reports of tornadic activity and large-scale tornado outbreaks were noted over the past weekend down through parts of Oklahoma, Texas, and the lower Mississippi Valley Delta region. Well, back this way, a quiet start to the week. Sun-filled in 58 with a light northeast wind. Freshening on up for the day-to-day as the day wears on. Partly cloudy, 38 tonight. For tomorrow, Election Day. Dry weather across our neck of the woods and over a wide area of the Midwest. Partly sunny and 61. Turns breezy, milder to warmer Wednesday and Thursday. High 70 to 75 degrees. Then a cold front. Low 50s and dropping with a quick shower on Friday. Cold wave weather for the weekend. 37 the high on Saturday. 35 on Sunday. Overnight readings will bottom out between 20 and 25 degrees. And that chilly weather continues on early next week as well. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier. It's showtime.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Pipes is writing down a lot of stuff. I'm just going to go from the gut. And joining us now, Coach Bielma, Josh Whitman joining us now.
You get to say all the cool name drops.
Do it.
Brad Underwood, our guest.
College hoops.
How do you lose to Jackson State?
Call up every single person in the media that didn't put Kofi first team All-American. And I don't know, just play like clown noises.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh, Michael Porter Jr. has been good, but he thinks the earth is flat, so I can't pick him.
Oh, boy.
Throw it up to Kofi, and he's just going to tear the rim off.
How is he so good? All right, Hans, I'm going to mute you for a while.
Okay.
Oh, there's a timeout on the court!
So what we want to do is build a same-game parlay that will win all of us some money.
Maybe Rondale Moore could beat Cooper Kupp, but he's not. Is it Instagram?
Yeah.
Is that what IG means?
I think you have to win the Big Ten title to win Big Ten Player of the Year.
Woohoo!
Wow, what a bad take.
That was pass interference against the Bears. Justin Fields, man.
Justin Fields was awesome.
Wow.
He broke Michael Vick's single-game rushing record for a quarterback.
Did he really? I didn't see that. Wow. Yeah, I had to. I mean, look, I've called him out plenty. Wow. Wow.
You wrote him off. He didn't write back.
Right, exactly.
The old Geno Smith line. Just kidding.
Well, Geno just wrote us off. Maybe a coaching change coming in Arizona, but why hadn't it happened? By the way, Frank Reich fired at Indy. That's been a you-know-what show. I don't know if it's been as much of a you-know-what show as it has been in Arizona, though. It's ridiculous.
It's been pretty bad. And then they named Jeff Saturday. They pull him off of
how weird. Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald's going to be coaching the Cardinals
studio and put him on the staff.
I mean, at least you're Matt Ryan. I mean, he's not that good. Arizona's got Kyler Murray and is doing what they're doing.
That's true.
I don't know. Something's got to change in Arizona. The GM and the coach gone. But we'll see. I mean, Bidwell just
could be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Bidwell just gave him 6-year extensions, both of them. Steve Keim, the GM, and Cliff Kingsbury. All right, good evening. That's not what we're here to talk about. I did want to point out the Bears, though. They look good, and we'll talk all about that tomorrow. I promise. We'll talk some Bears tomorrow. 217-359-2255 if you'd like to weigh in on the U of I Atlantic text line.
I just want to say real
drive.
quick.
Yep.
I appreciate that you have come out and said it's okay to be really angry about Saturday.
Yeah. Don't you think?
Yes. Because we've seen with this program, and I think things are going to change with Brett Bielema. He's shown progress, tangible results, great coaching, now even an uptick in recruiting, that this is going to be a more consistent program going forward. But we've seen the history. It's like once every 15 years.
Right.
I know that's kind of the line for basketball to go to the Final Four, but in a similar window to go to a marquee, like Rose Bowl type of Sugar Bowl type of destination. And what if this was the one? It finally came in the mail this year for Illinois, and they're like, no, we're going to lose to Indiana and Michigan State. Thank you, but we'll go to, not the Music City Bowl wouldn't be bad, but that's currently where at 24/7 Sports, they pulled up their bowl projections.
Be great for Illinois fans. I mean,
yeah, it'd be a fun spot. Nashville's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I get the perspective of 7-2 is still really good.
Oh.
But the schedule has broken your way in a big way.
Big time.
And you don't have, as the college football playoff came out and said, you don't have a marquee win. Unfortunately, you have two really awful losses.
I mean, I was going to say, you have bad losses. That's the funny part. You've won 7 games, but your 2 losses are to teams under 500. A team that will definitely finish under 500 in Indiana, and Michigan State still has a shot to win enough to get to 6 or 7, maybe. I think they're 4 and 5 now. But, yeah, I mean, you were 17-point favorite. And listen, I get it that these games happen. I mean, a couple of years ago, Ohio State lost to Purdue, right, when Rondale Moore went crazy. I mean, imagine when Illinois went into Ohio State and beat them, right, when they had a chance to play. They were the number 1 in the country.
Right.
Imagine, even though that was a really good Illinois team, and Ohio State would tell you that, they're the number 1 team in the country. They're not supposed to lose that game. They've probably felt like we did Saturday. Where, look, I know Michigan State's a pretty good team, but we're better. We're the better team. And you played a lot of it like you were the better team, but just couldn't get the win. Yeah, I mean, and again, Jason and I have kissed and made up here on the text line. But, you know, it's one of those where it's like, and again, I feel bad that Jason's the one I exploded on because it's not him. I had so many people come up to me because I was in a foul mood in the tailgate lots after that game. And everybody was just like, well, Lon, I mean, my goodness, who would have thought we'd have won 7? I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. The point is we have. The point is we've won 7 games, and we should win 9 to this point. You should be 9-0 right now, I think. And let's say that happens. This team should be 8-1. The one game happened, like it does in a lot of college football. You say it all the time.
I've been waiting for one of those that's not supposed to be so convenient.
Look at all the teams that got beat ahead of you. This is the other thing that annoys me. To your point about this chance only happens on occasion. This ain't going to happen very often. Now, do I trust that Brett Bielema is going to bring sustainability to the point where I've always asked for 6 to 8 wins? That's what I've always asked for. Give me 6 to 8 wins. Give me a chance to win every home game. I want to go into Memorial Stadium on Saturdays with the idea that we could win a football game, and we are going to talk basketball, I promise, here in a second. But the thing that drives me nuts is if you look ahead at all the teams that lost in this college football playoff ranking, there were like 6 or 7 teams that lost ahead of you. Now, does that mean we're going to jump to 5th? No. Does that mean anything different than what we are now? Because, again, we still don't have that big win? No. But you had a chance against a team that you were favored by 17 at home, and a team that had 8 players suspended and were banged up. They lost like a linebacker to start the season for the entire season, was their best, I think. You had every chance in the world to win that game and look tomorrow and be ranked 9th in the college football rankings. Instead, you're probably out.
And have game day coming to town.
And
I know that's just more of kind of the decoration
still,
or just the – I mean, it's a big deal for recruiting.
But it makes for a dream year, right?
For the moment, right, the dream year.
It just makes for a dream year. So Am I appreciative that Illinois won 7? Yes. There's still the goal, and you can still play in Indy. Never did I ever think we would do that. Ever. It's like me being a Cardinals fan, Arizona, and saying we'd ever play in the Super Bowl, and we did. And I went to it, and it was a dream come true, and they almost won the game. But in my mind, I'm like, I'll never see Arizona in a Super Bowl, and it happened. Never in my life did I think I'd see Illinois in a Big Ten championship game. And if you take care of business against two teams you should take care of business, which is Purdue and Northwestern, you're going to be in Indy. Now, I don't know what happens. I don't know if you lose by 50. I don't know. There's been a lot of good teams from the West go and get crushed in the Big Ten championship, but that is something you can say now, right? That you have been. I always say update a stat. You're creating a stat. And so to me, yeah, I'm appreciative of 7 wins. Yeah, no, I did not expect this team to win 7. I didn't. I expected this team to win 6, maybe 7. So they've already eclipsed everything that I even thought. But that doesn't mean that we have to then say, well, okay, we've got our 7. Now we can lose the rest of them and we should still be happy. You should still be happy, Lon, that they're 7-5. No, I'm not. I figured it out already in my head. I mean, let's be real. You're going to beat Purdue. You're going to beat Northwestern. You're 9-2. You're going to lose to Michigan. I know they played before Northwestern. You're 9-3. You're going to lose in the Big Ten championship game. You're 9-4. You're going to go play a really good team out of the SEC, probably in a bowl game. Maybe lose that. You might be 9-5. But think about what you did to get there. You won the West. You played in the Big Ten championship game. You played in a bowl game in Florida, maybe. Those are 3 things that if you gave me one of those every season, I'd be like, I'll take it. If you said to me, Lon, you can or this year I'm going to give you one of 3 things. You're either going to win the West, or you're going to play in the Big Ten championship game. I know that correlates. Or you're going to play in Florida. I'll be like, if you just give me one of those 3, I'm good. And let me tailgate and have fun watching this game, I'm good. So, yeah, thank you for telling me. I think it's okay to have passion.
It is.
And like Stevie said, when's the last time we had passion for Illinois football? I had a lot of venom at Lovie Smith and Tim Beckman and coaches before that were just bad. But, yeah.
It just further adds the questions of, okay, we know this team's good. How good are they?
Right. It does.
Because
gives you pause.
The Michigan game, if you beat Purdue, get to the Big Ten title game, can you compete in either one of those?
Right.
And if you play in a bowl game, if you're still, based on the way the Big Ten West is stacked up, if you're like the 4th best team in the Big Ten, matching up with the 4th best team in the SEC,
Tennessee.
That could also be one that's, ooh. Again, I'm not trying to take anything away from what Illinois has done to this point.
No.
It's just one of those kind of sobering.
Do you worry about getting blown out at Michigan and getting blown out in the Big Ten championship game?
Absolutely.
I do too. I mean, you've played 2 of the 3 worst teams in the East and you've lost to both of them. Now you're about ready to play the 2 best. Unless Michigan beats Ohio State and you have to play Michigan twice, you are basically, if everything goes like it should, about ready to play the 2 best teams in the East. And not only that, but 2 of the top 5 teams in the country, according to the college football playoff rankings. I don't know what's going to happen in that. But damn, I love the chance to do it.
I know.
I love the chance to do it. And that's what's awesome about this. And can I ask you a question?
Please do.
Why do you have Eastern Illinois colors on?
Oh, boy.
Did you even notice that?
No.
That is a beautiful shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Because I walked in and I'm like, dang, I like that shirt. And then I was like, well, wait a minute.
It's EIU colors.
It's EIU colors.
Oh, no.
That reminds me.
That's a great call.
At the quarterback club, which I was able to talk to this year, and I appreciated it, and I know everybody knows that. And the unique and the weird thing about that is the last time I spoke at a quarterback club luncheon was 2001 when Illinois won the Big Ten title. And now I did it this year with them, John Rector and the crew, not knowing that's the case. And now we have a chance to win the Big Ten West. I mean, it's just kind of freaky that that's happened twice. But I said the story at the quarterback luncheon that I showed up that day in a suit. How time has changed. Times have changed. I don't even have a suit that fits. And I had my favorite tie was a red tie. And Illinois played Ohio State that week. And Ron Turner walked in and sat down, and then he got up to the podium, and he's like, really appreciate our guest speaker wearing colors of Ohio State. And I looked down, and I was like, oh, crap. Sorry, Coach. But you know what? We went on to win the Big Ten title.
I hope the Panthers roll out their most royalist of blues tonight for their uniforms. I don't have any royal blue, I don't believe. I feel like I have every other blue on this shirt. I don't know. Hopefully I don't get called out in the press conference afterward with Brad. You can finish the show. I'll just drive home and go change shirts.
Yeah, I was going to say, you better go change or bring an extra one always. You want to wear my red pullover? My red Champagne Tribe pullover?
I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be all right. All right. People. Oh, you had one more point, and then people are chomping at us to talk basketball.
Real quick, fixing the red zone is going to be huge to winning some of even this Purdue game. Purdue that can put up points. I didn't realize how bad it was. I wanted to find a stat to compare it to the rest of the country. Illinois has been in the red zone 40 times. They have 16 touchdowns.
Wow. Wow on both ends. I didn't know they'd been down there 40 times, which is a credit to that offense and Barry Lunny and et cetera, et cetera. But, 16 touchdowns.
You look, 16 touchdowns, 14 field goals have been made. That's 30 scores and 40 trips.
Ew.
That percentage is one of the worst in Power 5, the only Power 5 teams worse than you. And that conversion, forget the touchdowns, which is really bad.
Yeah.
But even just getting points, Michigan State's worse, Missouri's worse, and Georgia Tech's worse.
That's
it in Power 5.
Wow. And I wonder how many of those have ended and resulted in fourth downs. In other words, how many times did we maybe lose a field goal or miss a field goal? Have we in the red zone? I don't think so. Maybe we have. It seems like whenever we were close.
I think Caleb Griffin's missed one or two
maybe,
short ones.
I
don't know if it
early
was
on.
Yeah.
That's a good point. In games that we were controlling. That's true. That is. And then Fabrizio or whatever came in and nailed 7 straight.
True.
He will be the ultimate. Remember the dude that he'll be the ultimate guy. Like if Illinois goes on to win the West and goes and plays in the formerly called Outback Bowl and beats Tennessee. I don't know. Let's say they win 10 games and it's heaven and we just all 10 years from now we'll look back and we'll be like, who was the kicker? Fabrizio Penton or something. He'll be that one guy.
You've got to be making that name up. If anybody else, any other fan base, Illinois will know you're talking about.
That is funny, though. He'll be the guy. All right. Any more on football for you?
No, let's get to hoops.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to pick Derek's mind about Illinois basketball. Man, it officially starts tonight, and we're an hour and 20 into the show without mentioning it. That's crazy. I mean, we do have the excuse, Jay Lehman hour. I mean, we got to talk football there with Jay. So we're back to talk hoops. I promise it is the drive.
Here's what new customers are saying about Interstate Batteries.
It's nice to see capable and helpful associates. They did a top-notch job.
They were easy to talk to and explained everything.
Service was prompt and I was a walk-in. Total service time was only 20 minutes. I highly recommend Interstate Batteries.
Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable. How much is dependable worth? Experience them for the first time at 2504 North Mattis. Way out there, but worth the drive. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
Visit interstatebatteries.com.
Christmas time is here, and this is your year for a tree that brings cheer with a tree guarantee that keeps the glee. And it's all right here at Prairie Gardens. You'll find unique holiday decor and sparkling ornaments galore, handmade wreaths, candles, and more. And all at generous savings you'll adore. Because when you're at Prairie Gardens, you make your Christmas as unique as you. Extraordinary gardening, home decor, framing, and
ho, ho, ho!
It's totally Christmas!
Hi, this is Chris Jackson with Kramer Siding and Window. And whatever your project, you can count on Kramer Siding to offer you the best products backed by the best warranties in the business and a lifetime of great customer service. And right now, you can save 10% on roofing, sunrooms, and decks. Get 15% off gutter helmet, and you can save 25% on preservation siding, windows, and doors. So call today or visit us at kramersiding.com and let's get started on your project.
Hi, Ellen Hook here, owner of your local Ashley. Black Friday furniture savings start now at Ashley. For a limited time, holiday must-haves are up to 50% off. And as a special thank you to our community heroes, all veterans and active military receive an extra 10% off their in-store purchases. Getting your home ready for the holidays has never been easier. We have financing options for everyone, no matter your budget. Visit your local Ashley store now to shop and save today.
Champaign County, this is Terrence Stuber.
I am asking for your vote to restore integrity to the office of County Clerk. Irregularities, secrecy, and a disregard for the election code have placed us under heightened scrutiny these last 4 years. You deserve better. We cannot sit by and allow this to continue. If you believe accuracy, efficiency, and integrity still matter in local government, please vote Terrence Stuber for County Clerk between now and 7 p.m. on November 8th. Paid for by Citizens for Terrence Stuber.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands, owner of Lands Inc. Your heating and cooling system works hard for you all year long to keep you and your family comfortable. That's why it's important to have it maintained and serviced regularly. Our techs are ready to help you with all your indoor air quality, humidity, and filtration needs. Visit landsinc.com today for specials on a brand new train system for your home and to see for yourself why it's hard to stop a train. At Lands Inc., our commitment is to you, the customer. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
Hey, it's Stevie J. I've got a great Stever for you today. A brand new one. We welcome Pards. You remember Pards? Pards Western shop, but they're not just Western. If you've not been into Pards in a while, you can go to pards.com and see all that they offer. But they carry outstanding shirts and jeans, and the best boots that you're ever going to find anywhere is Pards. It's locally owned. It's off of University and Maine. It's on Maple. You'll find it in Urbana. And if you haven't been there in a while, I want you to get in there because I'm offering you $50 to shop at Pards. Pards in Urbana, $50 for Stever. You have 7 days to use this, and you have to fill out your surveys of what you thought of working with Mark and Angie over at Pards. It's a great locally owned store. They've been around a long time. $50. Just go to GoStever.com, click accept. You'll get an email if you win. GoStever.com for $50, my 50 to spend at Pards.
Pards in Urbana, that's a cool store, man. Big store. It's always that, like, for years I drive by it and I'm like, what is that? I mean, I knew what it was, but I've never been in there, and I finally did. I've been in there a couple of times. Man, that thing is so impressive to go in. Even if you've never been there, like Stevie said, go in there, man. It's so awesome just to go around and check out everything they've got. Great stuff there. All right, it is The Drive with Tay and Piper. I'm Lon Tay. Derek Piper to my left. We're going to hear a little snippet from Brad Underwood coming up in the hour. He spoke, Friday with the media.
Yep.
And so here we go. Tonight is, I know we had Quincy as a exhibition. Tonight counts. You could be 1-0 after tonight. Let's be honest, you will be 1-0 after tonight, although you're on a one-loss losing streak to the Panthers, if you count that exhibition years ago. What are you expecting? What are you expecting tonight? I had told you, like, don't panic when Quincy's within 2 at the 12-minute timeout, right? I mean, don't panic. These guys are slowly learning to play together, number one. And, look, Eastern's not just going to show up and just give you the ball every time. Like, here, you score again. They're going to try, but you should win, obviously, against Eastern. What are you kind of in your mind expecting, or maybe you're not, going into this game?
I think I'm still expecting this team to look like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I think that even given the opponent, Eastern, based on what we know, last year they were one of the worst Division I teams in the country. They went 5-26. Now they did add a number of new pieces. They've gone to Division II for a couple of guards and have a nice freshman in Kyle Thomas from the in-state, son of Daryl Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Stand out at Indiana.
Absolutely, the running back.
That was a nice get for them, but I think that, McDonald's All-American played
I'm
Bobby
sorry.
Knight's.
I'm thinking of Thompson. Oh, boy.
You're
Plus, that'd be his grandpa. My bad. I totally went off there. Never mind. Just ignore me.
You're good.
I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, I think that this is obviously a game they don't only should win. They're favored by 30 points for a reason, and they should win comfortably. But I think that offensively, we're still going to see stretches of like, you're going to ooh and ah at some of the talent, the athleticism, some plays that they're going to make. Terrence Shannon, I think, will play better than he did in the exhibition game. I would hope that Matthew Meyer is starting to make some real progress here. And it sounds like he's had some great practices, some not so great practices.
Okay.
It's now just having things really click for him. Both are still trying to get comfortable, new surroundings, new roles and everything. But the realization is also that while hoops is starting and you have a couple of cupcakes early, you only have 3 tune-up games before you go to Vegas.
You're right.
Your game 4 is against UCLA, who's a top 10 or top 15 caliber team, and then you could play Baylor or Virginia after that. Not long after, you'll face Texas. So they're going to come hot and heavy, and your marquee players better be ready. I think the freshmen are going to have some bumps in the road. That's not going to be a surprise at all, if especially in those environments, if they're inconsistent or up and down. But you need Meyer and Shannon to look like two of the best transfers in college basketball. The good thing is Hawkins and Melendez in that exhibition game played really well. I think you can lean on them and expect to be pretty reliable contributors as veterans. But I think that it will be up and down. I expect some turnovers. I expect some clunky offense.
Yeah.
But Illinois' defense should really bother Eastern, who had a hard time scoring. They averaged like 52 points a game last year. They didn't even have a guy average double figures.
Yeah.
And they should have a tough time scoring, and hopefully Illinois does a better job turning defense into offense.
Do you think a guy like Matthew Meyer, let's be honest, he's been in college, 6 years? I mean, this is like a job to him now. He's won a national title. Do you think an Eastern Illinois basketball game is going to fire him up? I don't know.
Probably not.
Maybe it does.
Well, I think that on paper, if you asked him.
Right. He's going to tell you it will.
Well, he might. If he's being honest with you, Eastern Illinois. But the reality is, this is his last season in college basketball. NBA scouts are watching. Now, they're going to care whether he goes for 30 or goes for 15 against Eastern. Probably not.
That's
but
fair.
The fact is, getting him ready and locked in for Vegas, for UCLA, for possibly seeing his former team in Baylor, few guys can just turn it on and off like that. Few guys could coast through these early games, which honestly would be bad for your team, bad for your culture, because you're going to get in the Big Ten and you're going to play Penn State, or you're going to play Nebraska, or you're going to fill in the blank, a team that doesn't sound like you should get excited for, and that team could actually beat you.
There's no doubt.
And that's not to say if everything possible went wrong, could you lose to Eastern tonight? Technically, you could. I just want to see Matthew Meyer show up with the lights being on, albeit against Eastern. But I understand that while he's had a back injury through the offseason, you want to conserve your body a little bit that way. And then also just, look, I've played in Final Fours. I've won a national title. I've done all this and that. Maybe I'm just waiting for my moment. I'm not going to be all out every day in practice. I would understand that, and he wouldn't be the first veteran to do that.
Well, you basically shot down what I was going to say. And again, it would be dangerous, but you wonder if a guy like Matthew Meyer is like, guys, don't worry. When UCLA comes and the lights really go on, I'll be there for you. But I think that's dangerous to do, and I probably doubt that would be the case.
Right. I wouldn't think so. I do know that they've internally wanted more for him consistently, because they've seen days where he's absolutely lit it up in practice. He's a talented shot maker, and guys are going to go through ebbs and flows in general of making shots, and that's not necessarily effort, but I think they've noticed that sometimes he's dialed it back a little bit. And the great thing about Illinois now, with so many guys that are on the NBA radar, like they had a team in last week, and it might not have been the only one. They've had frequent stops in, NBA scouts, people that do mock drafts, that they're watching where practices matter now in terms of, look, maybe not entirely in terms of the stats or anything, but one thing you don't want, and I don't want to rag on Matt too much. He hasn't played a game for Illinois that matters yet, and if he shows up tonight, does his thing, and carries Illinois early on, or at least does his fair share, this won't be anything that you necessarily remember, but you don't want to be the guy that isn't putting in the work all the time or isn't dialing it up all the time, because one thing when people did their homework on Io was this guy is the ultimate competitor, putting in a tremendous amount of work. You don't want to see him on the practice floor because he's going to try to bust you, and you know what? Like, those are things that people want to hear when they really dig in on a player, and it's the difference between taking them at this pick in the second round versus being, I don't know, there's maybe some red flags, some question marks. But on that note, Matthew Meyer, very talented.
Yes.
Obviously one of the, I mean, it was kind of a surprise when he picked Illinois when he did, and we were live on air. It was one of the fun reactions.
One of the best days ever.
Live, and now it's him living that out and being one of Illinois' marquee players.
Well, and let's be honest, let's be fair to him a little bit. He got here late because he had to finish up some schoolwork at Baylor, and then he's had an issue, with his back that has maybe slowed him a little bit to this point. There's a lot of time. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of times you'll see athletes where you kind of get that. That's weird. Like, that's weird that he's not playing like he is. And then all of a sudden you find out, like in baseball, let's say, you find out 2 weeks later, oh, he's got a little bit of a torn labrum or whatever. Or he's got like a wrist that's sprained, and that's what. And you're like, well, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not making excuses for Matt. And again, I don't need to because we really haven't had a game yet.
Right.
But you wonder if maybe he's just slowly getting accustomed to that. I don't know. Hell, he'll come out tonight, go 18-12, and we'll all be like, sweet.
Yeah. And the flip side of that is totally fair. If he was someone that was diving on the floor in the Quincy game,
right.
re-aggravates his back and isn't able to play in Vegas, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, actually, you should be a little bit more selective in when you go all out. So,
oh, by the way, do you know who made an appearance at the tailgate Saturday? Speaking of diving on the floor, Lucas Johnson and his brother Brian. So Brian Johnson's daughter is here at Illinois. So they were down to see her. I met her, super nice girl. And Lucas was wound up. Oh, was he wound up? Wow. Then he said something about Lute Olson, and I said, without remembering, I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice. I told him the story about meeting Lute, and I said, you guys ought to make up, whatever. And he goes, I walked away, I guess, and he looked at one of my buddies. He goes, does he know that Lute passed away? I was like, oh, God. They were telling me that later. I was like, oh, great. Lucas probably thinks I'm like some idiot now, but sorry, Lute. Rest in peace. I just had forgotten that. But, boy, he was wound up.
Lucas Johnson goes to a medium to make up with Lute Olson.
I said, do you need a beer? He goes, I do. I said, then they were getting ready to leave. I'm like, hell, take a couple for the road. He goes, oh, you're the best. And he just digs in. Of course, he was drinking Miller Lite, so I didn't care. I told my Vermilion County boys, I'm like, hey, he's stealing your beer. I'm like, what are you going to do about it? And they're like, nothing. Absolutely nothing. You made me think of that, though. Shooting. I don't think it's a concern, obviously, but I don't think they shot well. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. And without Luke, I think it's an incomplete grade, right? Until he's back, because I think he's one of your best, I would assume. Is that something you kind of want to see out of this team tonight? And maybe, I think playing together and the more you play together leads to more open shots, leads to more of an offense that's flowing to where then you get guys where they need to be. Not only that, but the passes are where they need to be to guys that are ready to shoot. I think all of that plays into it.
Definitely does. I know Brad talked about that after the Quincy game of first half, it seemed like everything was frantic and rushed. And then any sign of daylight, guys were putting up shots, and he's wanted this offense to be aggressive and to kind of, I don't know if freelance is the right term, but just play free. I mean, now that you're playing with so much space and you got a number of guys that can play make and do all these different things, he's tried not to put too many constraints on this team to just see how it matures and be able to then go in and say, all right, no, in this situation, I want to run this set play or things like that, instead of having it be so bogged down that you want that talent to really just show itself. But in the second half, the ball moved a little bit better. There's more cohesion. I think when you have that, I mean, we saw that last year when Illinois was at its best and people doubled the post against Kofi, he'd throw it out and that thing would kick around the perimeter, similar to what we remember about 2005. Like the extra pass, the way that ball could swing from one side of the court to the other and find the open guy. These guys haven't played together. These guys don't have that chemistry yet. So that is going to have to continue to build and grow. And when the ball moves, you get more open shots. You get more in-rhythm shots. But to your original question about the shooting, it is a question mark because the guys that shot it well last year, one, Luke is on the sideline.
Yeah.
RJ only took like 16 threes last year. So while he shot 60%, the sample size was really small. Coleman, we've heard a ton about his ability to shoot it, and he's shown it in high school. He just hasn't been consistent in college. And then you got newcomers. Terrence shot it really well, but he's now in a little bit of a different role. So, and Matthew Meyer can shoot as well. There are many capable shooters. It's just how it is able to click together and then have those guys shoot it well. One thing I look for tonight is, regardless of if the three's going or not, but especially if it's not, you got to get to the rim more. This team's got to get to the free throw line a lot more because they have.
And that's where they're built, right?
Exactly. Their strength of their athleticism, having these big wings, big forwards that can attack the basket and make EIU make a choice. Like, you're going to give up the layup or the dunk, you're going to foul us. Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer. I mean, on down the line, all these guys are capable of doing that. I'd like to see them get to the line and be aggressive attacking the rim more.
Besides talking about the Bears tomorrow, get ready for me to ask you about every player on this team. I'm not going to be there tonight. So, I mean, I want to know about Dane. I want to know about Epps. I want to know about, how Sky Clark ran the team. How did Coleman do? I'm going to be just peppering you tomorrow with questions about that stuff. Luke Goody, speaking of shooting, we believe is going to join us this Thursday. I hope everybody enjoyed that. If you didn't get a chance to hear that, it was last Friday, and you can go to StevieJ.com. That's StevieJay.com. Luke was in studio. He was awesome. We got done, and he goes, "That's it? Like, that went fast." I'm like, dude, anytime you want to come back, anytime. I told him, I said, I've always told, like, Kent Brown and those guys, I'm like, if you ever have an athlete that just wants to talk, because this is what I found in 30 years of doing this. When people sit down at these mics and start visiting, they love it.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about it. I don't know what it is. There's something about it that's really cool. You know why? Because you do it every day in a bar, or you do it every day at the office. You sit there and you talk to your buddies or at lunch about sports. That's what we do. So to then do it on the radio, and then it's just like I think he would have gone for an hour, but I don't think that's fair to him. So he's not going to be in studio, but we're definitely going to visit with him, and I think it's going to be this Thursday. By the way, Friday we are at Pia's, so make sure you come out. I think we're going to be inside this time. We'll see. We'll see how the weather is, but I believe it's inside. I'm pretty wimpy in my old age, so I'm fine with going inside. But
it's our last one of the season.
It is, yeah.
So if you haven't caught us out there yet,
perfect.
Good time to go.
Come out and join us. So, all right, I'm going to let you get out of here to get to State Farm Center. You're going to be on with Channel 3?
I am. That's why I wore this, as
Yeah.
you said,
Again,
beautiful
it's a
shirt.
beautiful
but,
shirt.
you know, it is Eastern colors. So.
I'll forgive you. I don't know if Brad will. I don't know.
If they win by 30+, I think I'll be fine.
He'll be all right. Yeah, I think he'll be okay. It seemed like there was one more thing I was going to ask you, and I'd forgotten, so it's not a big deal. But you will be, obviously, we'll go through all this. We'll hear a little bit from Brad and the guys tomorrow. I know what I was going to say. Forgive me, not only you, but for everyone listening. Forgive me for not jumping 100% into basketball until the UCLA game. I'm not fully ready for basketball, and I apologize. Football has me 100% dedicated right now. Now, when that UCLA game rolls around and you're 3-0 and they're 3-0 or whatever they are, and it's a ranked game, and I think that's when the juices will start flowing for me, immediately saying, oh, here we go. But for right now, I just am not, my heart's not in it right now.
I understand.
But that said,
at least you get ESPNU tonight.
Yeah.
You don't got to get a streaming service.
Good point.
Big Ten Plus.
There's only two
Amazon
games, right?
Prime.
There's only two games that are on.
And one of them's already happened.
Oh, that's right. It was Quincy.
And then Lindenwood, I think.
Okay.
After Thanksgiving.
So 8 p.m. ESPNU tonight. Or
in front of the show, John Crispin on the call.
Oh, nice. We got to get him on soon. We'll get, especially now that he's going to be able to see him live. All right, you get out of here. When we come back, Brad Underwood met with the media on Friday. We'll talk about that. Well, we won't talk about it with him. He's already done it. But we'll hear a little bit from Brad to get you ready for tonight's game. We'll do it next. It is The Drive.
We're not far from the new year, and it's time to start thinking travel. Hi, it's Stevie J with Stevie J Travel, inviting you to our travel show, Champaign Public Library, on November 16th from 10 to 11:30 in the Ropesman Pavilion Rooms A and B, and find out where we're going in 2023. Places like New England, rails and trails, or Tuscany for a culinary journey. How about Hawaii and a little island hopping? Or maybe the Canadian Rockies and glaciers? Or how about Cuba? Yes, Cuba's on our agenda next year as well. Find out all about it. Come to the Champaign Public Library November 16th and learn about where you might be going in 2023. Again, Champaign Public Library is where we'll be November 16th from 10 to 11:30 in the Ropesman Pavilion Rooms A and B. For all the information, go to StevieJay.com. Stevie J Travel. Where do you want to go? Wouldn't it be nice to visit a car dealership where you didn't feel like you were at an auction? Or didn't feel like you were being taken to the cleaners?
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Welcome to Sarah Champagne. At Sarah, they offer a one-price promise. Every vehicle at a fair price, no negotiation, only the best price. Sarah Champagne, Honda, BMW, GMC, Buick, and Subaru. SERRA Champagne.com.
Hey there, Illini fans. This is Terrence Stuber, candidate for Champaign County Clerk. Election Day is November 8th, and just like Josh Whitman only wants to hire high-quality, qualified coaches, we need you to vote for high-quality men and women of integrity to lead in Champaign County government. Your vote is your voice. Don't let anyone else speak for you. Get out and vote, and go Illini. Paid for by Citizens for Terrence Stuber.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands, owner of Lands Inc. Is your plumbing system showing signs of cracks, sewer water infiltrating the basement wall? How about the things you can't see, like your underground drain and sewer pipes? A Lands sewer camera inspection and exclusive pipelining process can restore old pipes to like new quality with very little intrusion of your yard, and most projects can be completed in a day. Once installed, this will give you peace of mind that your underground drain and sewer pipes will be protected from root and water infiltration and increase the structural integrity with a one-piece liner. Visit landsinc.com to learn more. I'm Troy Lands. You can count on my company because you can count on me.
PDR Automotive in Urbana is a locally owned repair shop, and they've now serviced over 250,000 vehicles in their near 50-year history. Now, that's more than 4 times the size of a sold-out Memorial Stadium. It's more than all Division I athletes in the country combined. That's more than the entire population of Champaign County. That's more than, well, you get the idea. When you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Christmas time is here, and this is your year for a tree that brings cheer with a tree guarantee that keeps the glee. And it's all right here at Prairie Gardens. You'll find unique holiday decor and sparkling ornaments galore, handmade wreaths, candles, and more. And all at generous savings you'll adore. Because when you're at Prairie Gardens, you make your Christmas as unique as you. Extraordinary gardening, home decor, framing, and
ho, ho, ho!
It's totally Christmas!
Congratulations to Sarah Champagne. Sarah Honda has won the President's Award. This is an award recognizing the best Honda dealerships in America. Sarah Honda has achieved excellence in sales, service, and customer satisfaction. When you go into Sarah Champagne, you'll see what winning the Honda President's Award means with their outstanding focus on you. Visit Sarah Champagne and experience excellence with not only Honda, but GMC, Buick, BMW, and Subaru. Sarah Champagne, off Neal at Burwash in Savoy.
It is The Drive, ESPN Radio 93.5, Lante, and that's it. D Pipes on his way out the door, heading to State Farm Center, like I'm sure a lot of you are tonight for Illinois and Eastern Illinois. Illinois basketball kicks off the season officially tonight against Marty Simmons' crew and the Panthers of Eastern Illinois. So good stuff there. I was having a good visit in the tailgate lots with someone about Eastern Illinois basketball and just looking back through the years with Kevin Duckworth and Kyle Hill. And I mean, they've had some really good basketball teams at Eastern Illinois and have done some great stuff. I know Rick Samuels was a guy that was a longtime coach at EIU, and I always give credit to Coach. The 1 year when I was like in 7th grade, I think younger than that, down at EIU basketball camp. And of course, the old St. Louis Cardinal football team used to train down there in Charleston. And I went to Coach Samuels. It took everything I could muster as a 6th grader to walk into his office and ask him if I could skip an afternoon of basketball camp and go watch the Cardinals practice. And he looked at me and he said, "You know what, young man, I can't allow you to do that. Your parents paid good money for you to be here. But if you want to send a note next year, I will allow that to happen." So sure enough, the next year I came equipped with a note, and I was able to spend one afternoon watching my favorite St. Louis Cardinal football team train down in Charleston. That was really cool. I also remember 1 year going to a Dick Baumgartner shooting camp over in Indiana, and lo and behold, at the camp was a guy named Marty Simmons from Lawrenceville, and he was kind of showing off. I mean, he was incredible as a basketball player, but I remember I shook his hand. Of course, he wouldn't remember that, but it was just so cool to see how good he was and what a player he was, and I'm hoping that he's able to do some good things with that Eastern Illinois program for sure down the road. All right, Brad Underwood had a chance to meet with the media this week to visit about his team and just basically getting going on this season. Here's Brad.
Game one. It's here. It's here. It's upon us. It's glad to have two, a scrimmage and an exhibition. Those were great learning tools for us. It's exciting to go through the experiences that we went through in terms of putting our guys out there in front of 15,000. The nerves, letting guys find their pregame routine, what that's like, and then a scrimmage where you could actually coach and teach and learn a lot. Both those scenarios were very, very beneficial. Now we get to do it where they count, and we've got EIU coming in here right down the road, have one of the best coaches in the country, in my opinion. Marty is an unbelievable tactician, unbelievable teacher. He's turned that around, in my opinion, pretty quick. I've liked what I've seen in terms of their team. They're very good. They've got obviously a guy we know very well in Jermaine Hamlin. We know what type of athlete Jermaine is. His staff has done a nice job of replacing with talent. And so you look forward to these challenges early in the season when you face a well-coached team. They run great actions. They run great stuff. It's one of those things that Marty's going to counter what you do, and maybe once or twice. So it's good for the coaching staff as well to face a guy like that. So we're excited. We're excited to put our group out there. Again, there's still a lot of role identification out in front of us to come. We'll see how that all plays out. We've been able to define a few things, not a lot yet, but I'm very curious to see our pace, our communication. I'm very, very excited to see how this team, how we play in terms of not turn the ball over. And one of the things I'm, cautious about is, we don't have tons of game experience. And, there's going to be some slippage, and I'm really curious to see how quickly we grow. I thought we've made a ton of improvement here in the last week since our exhibition with Quincy, and be nice to see that carry over to a real game.
Hey folks, this is State Senator Chapin Rosen. J.B. Pritzker's run around the state asking for your vote, telling you everything's fine. Well, you and I know it's not fine. Go to the grocery store. It's not fine. The Safety Act the governor signed it into law, saying it was great, and then 2 weeks before the election he says he wants to change it. Why is that, Governor? Maybe it's because you should have never signed it in the first place. The incompetence knows no bounds. For our state retirees, group health insurance program, he signs and inks a deal with an insurance company that doesn't even have local providers of health care for our citizens to go to. What kind of a governor does that? Is it a governor that's deliberately doing his job for the best interest of the people of the state of Illinois? Or is he a governor that really doesn't know what he's doing and signing whatever people put in front of him? At the end of the day, folks, I stand up to J.B. Pritzker in Springfield. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th, but this is also your chance as a citizen to tell J.B. Pritzker and the rest of the Democratic Party in this state, from the county to the executive mansion, that you've had enough. Please join me in voting Republican. Paid for by friends at Chapin Rose.
Times are tough in Illinois. Thanks to Mike Marin, they're only getting tougher. I'm Cynthia Cunningham. I'm the wife of a retired police officer and spent my life working for seniors so they have the best health care and services. In Springfield, I'll tackle rising costs by cutting gas and grocery taxes. I'll fight for lower health care costs by cracking down on corporate price gouging from drug and insurance companies. And I will always fight to protect a woman's right to choose from extreme politicians. That's why I'm supported by Planned Parenthood. I'm Cynthia Cunningham. My opponent, Mike Marin, is hanging our families out to dry. Marin voted to double gas taxes and against lowering prescription drug prices while pocketing thousands from special interests like Big Pharma and the gambling industry. Marin voted to outlaw a woman's right to choose even in cases of rape and incest. I'm Cynthia Cunningham, candidate for state representative. Tell Mike Marin the game's up. Paid for by the committee to elect Cindy Cunningham.
Hey, it's Stevie J. I've got a great Stever for you today. A brand new one. We welcome Pards. You remember Pards? Pards Western Shop, but they're not just Western. If you've not been into Pards in a while, you can go to pards.com and see all that they offer. But they carry outstanding shirts and jeans and the best boots that you're ever going to find anywhere. is Pards. It's locally owned. It's off of University and Main. It's on Maple. You'll find it in Urbana. And if you haven't been there in a while, I want you to get in there because I'm offering you $50 to shop at Pards. Pards in Urbana, $50 for Stever. You have 7 days to use this, and you have to fill out your surveys to what you thought of working with Mark and Angie over at Pards. It's a great locally owned store. They've been around a long time. $50. Just go to GoStever.com, click accept. You'll get an email if you win. GoStever.com for $50, my 50 to spend at Pards.
Hello, I am John Brown, lifelong Champaign County resident and candidate for sheriff. From an early age, my parents taught my three brothers and me the importance of putting people first. I have never forgotten that during my 32-year law enforcement career. My entire adult life has been committed to public service, both inside and outside law enforcement. It is all about people and relationships. As sheriff, I will continue to put people first by working with other law enforcement leaders to address violent crime and increasing community outreach. I will provide proper oversight of day-to-day operations of the Sheriff's Office and face challenges head-on, especially the critical staffing and morale issues at the jail, and I will implement best practices. Putting the people of Champaign County first means electing a sheriff with real experience, proven leadership, and trusted judgment. I am John Brown, and I ask for your vote on November 8th. Paid for by the Friends of John Brown.
Flowers equals smiles equals happiness. Think love with flowers. The Blossom Basket florist can put a smile on everyone's face with a beautiful spring floral creation. Let their flowers make you a hero. Flowers are always affordable for all occasions, from simple to simply magnificent. Visit them online at blossombasket.com or come into their store at 1002 North Cunningham Avenue in Urbana.
The Blossom Basket florist, the florist you pick.
Urbana Indoor Aquatic Center is open for public swimming. Lap swim Monday through Friday from 6 to 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Public swim Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 p.m. and Saturday, noon to 5 p.m. Memberships and punch cards available. Also, a great place to rent for parties. Swim this fall at Urbana Indoor Aquatic Center. For more information, visit urbanaparks.org. Urbana Park District. You belong here.
Congratulations to Sarah Champagne. Sarah Honda has won the President's Award. This is an award recognizing the best Honda dealerships in America. Sarah Honda has achieved excellence in sales, service, and customer satisfaction. When you go into Sarah Champagne, you'll see what winning the Honda President's Award means with their outstanding focus on you. Visit Sarah Champagne and experience excellence with not only Honda, but GMC, Buick, BMW, and Subaru. Sarah Champagne, off Neal at Burwash in Savoy.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow right here in Champaign-Urbana can switch you over so you can start saving today. Kurt and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. It's easy to switch and save. Just give them a call when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I've got to clean out this garage. Let's see. What's the cheapest and easiest dumpster service in our area?
Here's what I found. The doggy bag.
Think she's broken. I'm not looking for takeout. Siri, try again.
The doggy bag from Bulldog Disposal in Mahomet.
Doggy bag? What's that?
If you got junk that needs to go, but you don't want the hassle of having an enormous dumpster delivered, grab a doggy bag, keep it as long as you need. They'll come take it away. For more information, just visit bulldoggybag.com.
That's bulldoggybag.com.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting in
At Busey Bank, we're proud to serve our local community through financial guidance and community investment. Offering sound advice and actionable insight, Busey builds financial strength, supports homeownership dreams, and offers customized lending strategies, connecting with our neighbors to build stronger communities. Busey Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini.
What does the Apple Dumpling Restaurant offer?
The Apple Dumpling serves up homemade favorites, fried chicken, sandwiches, delicious chicken and noodles, beef and noodles, and meatloaf as comfort food.
And of course, the Apple Dumpling with a scoop of ice cream, perhaps.
Visit this community treasure if you're looking for great people, great atmosphere, and great food in Urbana.
The Apple Dumpling Restaurant.
Open Tuesdays through Saturdays with a lunch buffet on Sundays.
On High Cross Road in Urbana.
You can look up the Apple Dumpling on Facebook.
At Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people with amazing service, great design advice, and unbeatable selection and the best prices in town. It's the perfect time to update your home with waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, tile, and more. Then complete your rooms by shopping our incredible selection of furniture and accessories. We also offer great financing options. Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people. Join the U of I Alumni Association today. With your annual membership fee, new members will enjoy discounts to Illini merchandise and tickets, career counseling, continuing education, and many more benefits. In addition, the Alumni Association has worked hard building the Alma Market, where visitors can shop Illini-owned businesses and support their favorite local retailers in Champaign-Urbana. For details on these exciting new ventures connecting our Illini community, visit uiaa.org. Go Illini!
You're listening to